Amigbe. And this morning we have another set. A first pair for today have already sat down. They're getting ready, and we're going to be hearing from them shortly as we get into our debate proper. Don't forget, you can follow us on Facebook and on X at Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH. This morning, indeed, every single day for your latest information, but particularly as we are talking about debating, and that's the program I Beg to Differ. So let's get to say hello to our first pair of contestants. Now, beside me on my right is
Okey-Orji Delight.
Okay, could you so the mic doesn't bite, don't worry.
Okey-Orji Delight.
All right, say it confidently. Say it like when you're shouting at break time.
Okey-Orji Delight.
All right, Delight Okey-Orji is here with me, and to my far right is
Anyalebechi Sarah.
Anyalebechi Sarah. Okay, all right. Both of them sat down in their lovely uniforms, and we have a small issue to get to this morning, and that is a debate, a conversation of sorts. My word versus yours. My point versus yours. And as always, for each of the segments, we have the presentation and the rebuttal. We are going to give them 3 minutes, and then the supporter of the motion will kick us off. Then the following argument will be from the opposer. The rebuttal, we have the opposer who's going to start, and then the supporter will then retort. Now, whilst all of this is going on, our judges who are not within the studio right now but are listening and watching online will have the points collated and sent across to me, and then we will have the final results. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get straight to it. I Beg to Differ 2024. So our first topic this morning is religious rights are too excessive in Nigeria. Religious rights are too excessive in Nigeria. Now, supporting the motion is Okey-Orji Delight, who is beside me. I'm going to quickly remind you. Are you ready, please?
Yes, I am.
All right, now, so the timer is in front of you. We have 3 minutes for you. Your time starts now.
Religious rights are the right someone has to practice his religion or belief, including the ability to worship in peace and security. Before I proceed, I would like to give honor to whom honor is due. With that, I say good morning, the moderator, impartial panel of judges, my accurate timekeeper, my co-debater, and my entire audience. I am Delight Okey-Orji. I'm a student of the Threshold College, and I'm here to support the motion which states that religious rights are too excessive in Nigeria with the following points. Religious rights are principles that support the freedom of an individual or community, in public or private, to manifest their religious beliefs, especially in environments where religious pluralism and multiculturalism is practiced. There is an opportunity for religions to coexist peacefully. Religious sects in Nigeria practice without the interference of any government or any regulatory body. This has brought about excessive rights. These excessive rights are abused by members of the public and also by the adherents, and it has given rise to some of the vices we face in our nation today, some of which include religious extremism and intolerance. Most adherents of a religion view non-adherents as infidels or as people that need to be eliminated. They arrogate so much power to themselves that they determine who should live and who should die. This is seen in the case of Deborah Samuel Yakubu, who was killed she was stoned to death by members of the Muslim sect in Sokoto, Nigeria. Her killers believed that they had the right to defend their religion, even if it meant killing or infringing on other people's fundamental rights. This is just one out of the many situations of religious extremism. Also, religious intolerance is seen in the Islamic sects, Boko Haram. They abhor Western education and they despise other religions. They kill and maim people just to prove their point and to defend their religion. Also, the false prophets are not left out of this. They engage in excessive rites. They prey on ignorant Nigerians, and these Nigerians are ignorant to their machinations. Their followers, whom I choose to call Papians because of the excessive use of the word Papa, have been brainwashed by these false prophets into giving off their valuable resources, and some of them have been brainwashed into doing their biddings. Some of them even lose their lives in the process. In the last 2023 presidential election, we heard of prophecies and counter-prophecies on who was going to be the next president of Nigeria. Many of these prophets claim to have heard from God and brought about confusion. So I throw these questions to you, my judges. Is our God now an author of confusion? Definitely no. The African traditional religion is not left out of this. They force their members and non-members into unholy practices that are against their fundamental human rights. Such gory practices include exhuming bodies and forcing them to drink the water used in washing these corpses. Which of you would like to be subjected to such practices? Definitely not. You can agree with me that religious rights are becoming too excessive. With these points of mine, I know and I'm sure that you are able to see reason with me why I say religious rights are too excessive in Nigeria. Thank you.
All right, your time was just exceeded. 3 minutes on the clock, and that was our supporter of the motion. Religious rights are too excessive in Nigeria. We'll take a breather as we get to hear the opening statement from the opposer of the motion. Stay tuned.
This is I Beg to Differ on 92.3 Nigeria Info. The conversation continues in a moment.
On your talk station, the conversation never ends.
Let the person walk, we vote you. You don't have to tell us to wait for the godfather to take you again. Carry your file everywhere. Who won't give it to you?
But some people have succeeded. Unfortunately,
let's not lie.
No.
It's Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
All right, so the opposer, the person who is against the motion, Anyalebechi Sarah, is getting ready. We're going to put the microphone onto her right now. Switch hers on. I get to speak to her. Hello, Sarah. Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, all right. So I want to ask you, as always, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Do you understand the rules and regulations?
Yes, please.
Okay, all right. So your time goes back to 0. 3 minutes on the clock. Your time starts now.
Panels of judges, presenters, moderators, audience listening from all social media platforms, good day. My name is Anyalebechi Sarah, and I'm here to oppose the motion by my opponent that religious rights are too excessive in Nigeria. My style of presentation is legalistic as the topic centers on the law and human rights. Let me define religious rights as the liberty to profess any religion in public or private, in worship and observance. I want to let my opponents know that according to section 38 of the Nigerian Constitution states, and I quote, "Every person shall be entitled the rights of thought, conscience, religion, including the freedom to choose his or her religion." Why do I disagree that religious rights are too excessive in Nigeria? My points are: 1. Religious rights in Nigeria are in line with acceptable global best practices. Nigeria is a signatory to important international human rights convention found between boundaries of international practices. 2. Religious rights as practiced in Nigeria are guaranteed by Article 18 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. These are time-tested principles that have worked in civilized societies and so cannot be said to be excessive. 3. Religious rights in Nigeria are not excessive because they are based on equity. 4. Religious rights in Nigeria are not excessive because they are ideas which contribute to the growth of human development. When we say something is excessive, we mean more than necessary. Can we say religious rights in Nigeria are more than necessary when in actual fact, religious rights in Nigeria are ways of curbing moral decadence? Certainly not, because these rights are within ambits of laws and are carried out in the manner that the rights of Christians, Muslims, traditionalists, and even atheists are not infringed upon. Religious rights in Nigeria are not excessive, are they? No. Religious rights in Nigeria has helped in preventing the cultural majority from using their power to impose their belief on others. 5. Religious rights in Nigeria has helped an estimated number of 50,000 religious congregations to operate schools, medical centers, food kitchen, drugs rehabilitation programs, homeless shelters, adoption agency, etc. With this point, I am sure my opponents and audience are convinced that religious rights are not too excessive in Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just under the 3-minute mark of 2 minutes and 27 seconds. These participants have been properly grilled in their preparation. It's now time for us to get to hear their rebuttals. We'll take a breather and we'll start with the opposer of the motion. Stay tuned.
This is I Beg to Differ on 92.3 Nigeria Info. The conversation continues in a moment.
The views and opinions shared on this program do not represent the position of Nigeria Info FM. Nigeria Info, let's talk.
Alright, so we're back. It's time for the rebuttal statements, and we're going to start with the opposer of the motion, which is Sarah. Sarah, as always, you have the same number of minutes as your opponent. Are you ready, please?
Yes.
Alright, your time starts now.
Panels of judges, all protocols observed. I remain Anyalebechi Sarah, and I'm here once again to oppose the motion by my opponent that religious rights are too excessive in Nigeria. My opponents missed the mark by attributing religious conflict to excessive religious rights. Of course, this viewpoint is illogical. I put it to you that the problem is not about the excessive religious rights, but the failure of the institution of the state to enforce existing laws in religious tolerance. 2. The proliferation of religious houses are not due to excessive religious rights. As we know, needs are determined by desires. 3. No society can function without justice. Justice is based on the law. The law, in the other hand, is based on social realities. How can we say the fundamental human rights in Nigeria? How can we say the fundamental human rights are excessive when we still have religious conflicts, manual suspicions, mistrusses among religious groups? Thanks. With this peace of mind, I am sure my opponent, the judges, are convinced that religious rights are not too excessive in Nigeria. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Sarah. A quick breather, and then we get to hear the support of the motion as she offers her rebuttal.
This is I Beg to Differ on 92.3 Nigeria Info. The conversation continues in a moment. To thrive in a fast-changing world,
tune in to 92.3 Nigeria Info for the best of news, talk and sports 24/7.
Alright, so we are back at Beg to Differ 2024. Don't forget, you can follow us on social media at Nigeria Info PH on Facebook and on X. This morning, Sarah and are going at it. It's a very interesting topic on debate, and it's time for us to hear the rebuttal of her opponent. Are you ready, please?
Yes, I am.
Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Alright, once again, your time starts now. 3 minutes on the clock.
I heard my opponent talk about all Nigerians have the right to choose their religion. So are you now trying to say that even if the religion is infringing on their fundamental human rights, and by the way, the UDHR Charter was created to protect the lives and properties of these Nigerian citizens who were involved in the last World War. So are you now trying to say that these religions should support the killings and deaths? By the way, statistics have it that the amount of Christians that have been killed in the north due to this religious intolerance amount to about 62,000. So I'm still suggesting that the government should clamp down on these religious rascals arrogating absolute rights and pillaging our society and wasting lives. And also, if you look at the example of Umaru Farouk Abdulmutalab, who was butchered, who is also known as the unaware bomber, and was sent to go and bomb a plane, would you like your family or yourself to be among those people? No. So I hope that with this strong and cogent points of mine, I hope I've been able to convince you or my audience listening from various locations that religious rights are excessive and will continue to be excessive until government steps in to do the needful and regulate these religions. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Just under 2 minutes and 30 seconds with their rebuttal statements. We're going to take a breather right now, and we're going to get the next pair to join us this morning. Don't forget, you can follow us on our online platforms at Nigeria Info PH. I'll be on Facebook and on X at Nigeria Info PH. But now, before we say goodbye to our guest, let us get to talk to them for a minute. All right, ladies, you can breathe out now. There we go. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with you first, Sarah. You are both dressed in blazers. How come you were not cold when we got in? Were you already anxious? Tell me. How do you feel right now?
I feel a little bit anxious, but it's okay.
It's okay. It wasn't too bad, right?
Yes.
It wasn't too bad. Okay, Delight, what about you? You were cold when you got in.
Yes, I was cold.
But when you started, did you still feel cold?
No, I didn't.
Are you cold now?
No.
Okay, so it's safe for me to turn the AC back on.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So all your friends are probably listening. What secondary school are you from?
The Threshold College.
Okay, that's Delight. Now you're from Threshold.
Yes, I am.
Okay, all right. And Sarah, what school?
Venocrest.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to ask you to say hi to your friends from school. Any particular names? Give a shout out to them.
Hi.
Okay, do you have any friends? You don't call their names? Are you shy? Let me see. Is anybody called Amaka?
Yes.
So yeah, say hi, Amaka.
Hi, Amaka.
Okay, awesome. All right, Sarah, what about you? Who would you like to give a shout out to?
To my brother.
Oh, okay. Is he in school too?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Say his name. Say hi.
Hi, Jerry.
Hi, Jerry. Do you guys look alike?
Yes.
You think so? Okay. All right. Is Jerry your older or your brother?
He's my elder brother.
It's your elder brother. All right. Awesome. All right. So they're giving that shout outs. It's now time for the judges to do their job, and we'll be back with the results. Thank you, ladies, for coming. I wish you all the very best. We still have a second pair coming through. Don't go anywhere. I beg to differ. 2024 returns.
Talk radio. 92.3 Talk radio.
Number one talk all the time. More station.
I must say, some points made by my opponents are based on phobia of the social media. Most players
say it is heated. It is always the difficult time to determine winners. Just like yesterday, the points have now found the decider. Alright, so it was this show right as we did have yesterday during the sound. And some of the judges chose just Delight, right, and the other took Sarah as being able to determine a winner. So Drake was able to pull 60 points, while Sarah pulled 9 points, just a point. So now that we know the winner, I can now announce to you unequivocally that the winner of this round is Okey-Orji Delight. Congratulations! I would like to thank the participants and indeed their minders and their guardians and their teachers for playing them so very well. Not what was unique, like I said, just a point, just a single point. Right, so let's get to the next pair. And boy, do we have another engaged question from Beto. Again, for Nigeria Info page at Nigeria Info page on Facebook and on X.
6 neighborhoods are based on phobia on social media.
Alright, so we're back with the second pair of students this morning, and I can already feel the tension. I'm sure those of you who are listening who are already feeling online, you're going, I like this, I like that. Now, let me just remind you, okay, these are only argumentative points. These are not views held by either of the students or indeed of the station. The idea is to marshal our points to get them to think outside the box, and if they want to argue in a proper and orderly fashion. I'd like to thank once again their teachers, their parents, and their tutors for preparing them for this very impressive task that they have embarked upon. And also to you who are following us, it's a good job that you're also commenting and and I are also sharing your views. But once again, we have to say a big thank you to our sponsor, Wigwe University, who have also joined in this laudable adventure to make sure the students do not just get great education but get the light and the proper platform to do so. And this is one such a platform that they can be expressive. These are the leaders of tomorrow, as we've always stated. But now, ladies and gentlemen, let us get to meet this next pair. Like I said, it is a feisty one, and we have our very first male contestants in the studio. All right, so let's get to say hello to the person immediately to my right. What's your name?
My name is Ikediasor, which is Stanley.
Stanley. All right. And then to the far right.
Sotonye Noble.
All right, Sotonye
Noble.
Okay, so I need both of you to clear your throats. All right. Relax, guys. Relax. All right. In the next 12 minutes, we will be done. But then you heard we have Stanley and we have Noble in the studio this morning. And like I said, it's not going to be a walk in the park. Difficult conversations that we've chosen for these young ones to sink their teeth into. And so let's get into it right now. It is Noble and Stanley head to head. So our topic for this round is junk foods should be banned in Nigerian schools. Junk foods should be banned in Nigeria schools. Ikediasor Uche is supporting the motion, while Sotonye Noble is against the motion. As always, the person who is supporting motion is going to start, and in this case, it is you, right? All right, Ikediasor, you're going to support the motion, while Sotonye Noble is opposing the motion. Now, you remember the rules. It's 3 minutes for each of the session you're going to present, and then after you present, you're going to allow your opponent, who is the opposer, to present. Now, the rebuttal starts with the opposer of the motion, whilst the supporter of the motion will respond. Are we both clear? Yes, sir. We're both clear? All right, so let's get straight to it this morning. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, sir.
3 minutes on the clock. Your time starts now.
Good morning, the moderator, panel of judges, accurate timekeeper, co-debater, and my highly esteemed audience. I'm Ikediasor, which is Stanley, student of Federal Government College, Port Harcourt, here to propose the motion that junk food should be banned in Nigerian schools. Junk foods are foods containing large amount of calories, which makes them unhealthy for growing children. Now, with the following points, I'll put it to you why junk food should indeed be banned in Nigerian schools. To begin with, healthy foods contain high amounts of proteins, minerals, and vitamins, which helps to improve cognitive function, enabling better retention and assimilation of lessons taught during classes. However, junk food does quite the opposite, bringing about mental fatigue and stress on the part of students. Secondly, increased consumption of junk foods is associated with increased risks of diabetes, obesity, and other chronic health conditions in children. But don't just take my word for it. According to a study conducted by the World Health Organization in 2018, diabetes in children is on the increase as a result of excessive consumption of junk foods. Again, for a child to grow properly and stay healthy, he must eat a balanced diet. And junk food doesn't necessarily nutritional parameters of a balanced diet. Moving on to my first piece, the explicit of making the health and well-being of innocent children. Whenever there's an increase in the cost of producing, they often go ahead, increase the prices of these foods and reduce their quality instead of maintaining quality of these foods and increasing their prices. How effective? Furthermore, junk foods have a low satiety value, meaning that students get very little or no satisfaction from consuming them. So why should they still be sold in schools? Moreover, it is no new knowledge most of these foods are produced in very unhygienic conditions. Now, what becomes of a child who consumes this food? Moreover, moving on to my 7th point, which is the fact that a ban on junk food will help to bridge the gap between the children of the rich and the children of the poor in our educational institutions. Most children who come from rich homes often bring excessive amounts of provisions to schools. Now, what effect do you think this has on the less privileged children? Definitely, discontentment will set in, and that is what we don't want. Additionally, is poor waste management culture in schools. Most of the packaging of junk foods contribute to environmental pollution. Hence, if these schools would not manage these waste products properly, then why should we allow them to still sell these foods? Additionally, junk foods have also been found to be a major cause of cancer by the International Agency of Research on Cancer in Europe. Let's save our children while it still gets not late by placing a ban on the sale of junk foods in our schools. Finally, if we want to have a healthier Nigerian society, then we must learn to prioritize public health over our personal gains. With this point of mine, I am proud to disagree.
All right, thank you very much. That is the first person speaking, supporting the motion that junk food should be banned in Nigerian schools. We'll take a breather and then we'll get to the opposer of the motion. Stay tuned to I Beg to Differ Debate 2024, sponsored by Wigwe University.
This is I Beg to Differ on 92.3 Nigeria Info. The conversation continues in a moment.
Talk radio. 92.3 Talk radio.
Number one, talk all the time. More station.
And so we're back to I Beg to Differ 2024, broadcasting live from the city of Port Harcourt. Once again, you can follow us live on Facebook and on X at Nigeria Info PH, at Nigeria Info PH. That's where you'll find us. We're done with the first pair, Okey-Orji Delight and Anyalebechi Sarah, and now we're on to the second pair. That is Masters Ikediasor, Uche and Sotonye Noble. Now, the conversation, the topic is junk foods. Should they be banned in Nigerian schools? Let's get to hear from the opposer of the motion, and that is Sotonye Noble. Sotonye, good morning to you once again.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. And can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm going to ask again. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
All right. So your microphone is on. The timer has been reset to 0. 3 minutes on the clock. Your time starts now.
Good day, amiable moderator, bench of dignified judges, accurate timekeeper, co-debater, and the ever-attentive audience. I am Sotonye Noble, a student of Federal Government College, Port Harcourt. We have a question. Should junk food be banned in Nigerian schools? Well, I'm in opposition to this, and here are my reasons. Firstly, banning junk foods could have negative implications on the economy. Many small businesses rely on selling junk food to students as a source of income. Banning these foods will hurt these businesses and potentially lead to job losses and economic setbacks. Secondly, placing a restriction of junk food in Nigerian schools may imply that most students may not have anything substantial to eat during the course of the day. Junk foods are often more affordable than healthier options such as fruits and vegetables. Many students come from low-income families and may not have the luxury of being able to afford healthier foods, and as such, this could negatively impact their ability to focus and learn in class. Furthermore, honorable adjudicators and my esteemed audience, if junk food, which is considered as a staple food in most Nigerian schools and in one such as mine, is banned, what would the students then eat? Hence, the banning will only lead to rebellion among the students. Moreover, the moderator, panel of judges, and my co-debater, you agree with me that if junk foods are banned, kids will simply have their way of sneaking junk foods from their homes or purchase them outside of the school grounds. This will create a climate of evasiveness among students. In some cases, students may even sneak out of school to buy junk food, hence negating the intended efforts, and this is not what we are bargaining for. The practicality of enforcement that no one is talking about should also be considered. Enforcing a complete ban on junk foods might be challenging, considering the variety of snacks available. A more practical approach may involve regulating the types and quantities of snacks sold within school premises while encouraging healthier alternatives. Lastly, acknowledging that occasional consumption of treats can provide a quick energy boost, potentially enhancing cognitive function and focus among students, especially during demanding academic periods, is another reason junk foods should not be banned. The moderator, panel of judges, co-debater, and my highly esteemed audience, with these points I'm so proud to differ. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Just under 3 minutes, 2 minutes and 15 seconds by the clock here. We'll take a breather, and when we come back, there are rebuttals, and we're going to start with the person opposing the motion. Stay tuned.
I must say, some points made by my opponents are based on phobia of the social media.
Most parents even go to the extent of sending their children on an errand to go get them the drugs.
You've experienced the arguments and their counters. It is time for a new champion. I Beg to Differ debate returns bigger and better. 16 students have been chosen from across the city to battle their way to 1 million naira. These students will prove their debate mettle on a variety of topics live and stand stand a chance to win big and represent the region in the nationals in Lagos. First prize 1 million naira, second prize 500,000 naira, and the third prize 250,000 naira. Watch live on Facebook at Nigeria Info FMPH or listen live on radio. Date Monday 26th of February to Monday 11th of March 2024. Time 11 a.m. I beg to differ 2024. Brought to you by Nigeria Info. Sponsored by Wigwe University. Alright, so welcome back. 92.3 Nigeria Info. It is I Beg to Differ debate. And now the topic for this final hour is all about junk food. Should it be banned in Nigerian schools? Well, we've listened to the opening arguments. Time for us to get to hear their rebuttal statement. And we are going to start with the person opposing the motion. That is Sotonye Noble. Let's get back to him. Sotonye, how are you this morning?
I'm fine, thank you,
Okay, alright. Very soon we'll be over. Just relax, okay? Now, you are opposing the motion. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm resetting the timer. It's 3 minutes for you. Rhymes.
Food should ban in Nigerian schools. My opponent made some claims which are found in my open as I'll explain. And fail to realize foods will travel because students are not restricted to accessing junk foods outside school premises. Now we'll move on to the points my opponent made. He made some claims about the health implications of junk foods. Well, the main reason for these health implications is the lack of activities. It will be more reasonable to take care of this problem rather than criticize junk food. Any kind of food may contain ingredients that influences the human body in a negative way. Besides, as excessive intake of junk foods has its own related illnesses, excessive intake of other foods by students from families that are low income earners as well have their related illnesses. We have excessive carbohydrates. Excessive carbohydrates, the illnesses are obesity and type 2 diabetes mellitus, excessive protein, kidney disease and liver malfunction, excessive fats and oils, coronary heart disease and certain types of cancer, and the list is endless. Also, proponents of the junk food should be banned in Nigerian schools argue that it leads to a decline in the academic performance of students, but I strongly disagree. Intake of junk foods may not be the only factor influencing academic outcomes. Moreover, an occasional consumption of junk foods does not necessarily equate to a decline in academic performance if balanced with overall healthy lifestyle choices. In conclusion, while acknowledging the potential negative effects of junk foods, a complete ban may not be the most effective solution. With this point, the motion "junk food should be banned in Nigerian schools" must fall. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. 1 minute and 45 seconds. So just under that for our opposer of the motion. We're back shortly with the supporter of the motion. And here's rebuttal.
This is I Beg to Differ on 92.3 Nigeria Info. The conversation continues in a moment. To thrive in a fast-changing world,
Tune in to 92.3 Nigeria Info for the best of news, talk and sports 24/7.
Well, welcome back to 92.3 Nigeria Info's I Beg to Differ 2024, where we get some of the brightest and best minds from schools, secondary schools around Rivers and in Port Harcourt in particular, to come sit down and then share with us their prowess on the microphone as they marshal our points in a variety of topics. This program is proudly sponsored by Wigwe University, and we are very pleased to have them join us, and indeed you as well, the listener. But let's get to the final bit as we have the supporter of the motion who is going to give us his rebuttal statement, and that is Ikediasor Uche. I'm going to put on the microphone now. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes.
All right, so the floor is yours. The timer is reset. 3 minutes. The time starts now.
Standing on the existing order of protocol, I remain Ikediasor Uche Stanley, a student of Federal Government College Port Harcourt. My friend here made mention of the fact that banning junk foods will have disastrous effects on the economy. It will lead to job losses and economic setback. Well, suppliers of this food could sell to banks. They could supply their foods to hospitals. They could supply their foods. They could sell in supermarkets. We don't just want these foods in our schools. We don't want them to have negative consequences on our young children. That way, they would also be akin to making more profits. Also, junk foods, you also said that junk foods are cheap and affordable. Now, I would like to direct this question to you, my worthy opponent. Would you eat poison simply because it's cheap? Definitely not. This food have long-term effects on health. So, the fact that you're saving money by consuming these foods doesn't mean you're not going to eventually spend that money you're saving treating the illnesses that come out of consuming these foods. Now, you also talked about rebellion among students. Well, every rebellious child in a school should be punished. Once it's dealt with, it will serve as a deterrent to others, and the policy would still stand. You also said that kids have a way of sneaking junk food in. Well, in my school, there is something we do which we call thorough search when students are always returning back from school. So they search their bags, and anyone who is found to bring junk food will definitely be punished for it. So there will be no way for kids to sneak in these foods into schools. You also talked about regulation, that they should be regulated. Well, kids are very trickish and they are smart in their ways. No matter how you regulate these foods, they will still have their way of going about assessing them. Now, let me remind you of the fact that these foods stimulate a hormone called dopamine release in the blood. When this hormone is released in the blood, it's a feel-good hormone, so it makes them feel so good about what they are consuming, and this could lead to addiction. So there is no way they will be able to regulate their consumption of these foods. We should outrightly ban it. You also talked about instant energy, that it provides instant energy. Well, these foods contain high amounts of sugar, and we know that by virtue of biology, sugar is easily digestible. So quickly, this energy is going to be exhausted. Now, addressing the point you made on being cheap and affordable, and the fact that some students come from low and middle income homes, and so they would not have enough money to buy food. Well, that is why we have school feeding programs. The Nigerian government has started sponsoring school feeding programs in schools, so the less privileged could still have access to good food in schools. So with these points of mine, I am sure and I know that I've convinced you beyond reasonable doubt on why junk food should be banned in our schools. Thank you.
All right, just on the mark, 3 minutes. All right, have been exhausted. Rebuttals have been made. Opening arguments have been made. Wow, this has been one of those days when you go, oh, do I support this? Do I support that? Well, the judges have a big tax. Quite the Herculean tax in front of them. But before we say our goodbyes, let's get to talk to our guests, our contestants this morning. All right, guys, you can drop your pens now. I see you guys have been writing counter arguments. All right, deep breaths. Okay. All right. Now, let me come to you, Sotonye. All right. So you were very, economical with your use of time. You laid out your points very quickly. Was this your strategy, or you just wanted to just have fewer points? Why did you make so much use of the time?
The last year I was here.
Okay.
My points were too many, and so I had to rush
through.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why you use the time. Now, interestingly, your opponent, who supported the motion, was trying to pack so many things into the time. And interestingly, you used exactly 3 minutes in both your opening salvo and your defense. And I saw you writing. Whenever he was talking, you were writing down points, trying to counter them. That's a pretty good exercise. Was that a teacher who taught you that?
No, it was just my style.
It's just your style. All right. So when he's making an argument, you're writing it down and ready to counter them. Very, very interesting time. So before I let you go, all right, you both seem to be from the same school, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so Federal, what's the name of school?
College, Port Harcourt.
Federal Government College. Where's that? Just Rumukoro, not far from here. And I do know you have a lot of friends, and I'm not sure you know this, but a lot of big men in Port Harcourt attended your school.
Yes.
Yeah, big men and big women who are listening to. So I want you to give a quick shout out to your friends very quickly. Say hi to somebody.
Shout out to Tobena.
All right. What about you, Sotonye?
Vanessa, shout out to Vanessa.
Okay, so shout out to Vanessa. All right, thank you guys. We'll be back with the results in just about 2 minutes as we say our goodbye to our guest. What a debate it was on I Beg to Differ 2024. Once again, sponsored by Wigwe University.
I must say, some points made by my opponents are based on phobia of the social media.
Most parents even go
All right, well done to all the participants, and indeed to you on Facebook who are obviously commenting, arguing, giving your points. That's how engaging it is. Well, all things being equal, the next round will come up your way, and we'll find out who is going to have the better argument on the day. Good morning.
It's all talk and more talk on Nigerian's #1 talk station.
This country needs a marshal, needs a sheriff.
In some particular societies, especially in my tradition, a woman is not allowed to inherit